All right. A very good Friday to everyone. We are live again. And this time, as always, like the last week, we have Dom with us. Thank you, Dom. I
Hey,
know we are in a mission now to build a full stack app in data button from scratch. Right.
yep.
So we have actually built quite a lot in the last 2 weeks. And Dom will introduce us whatever we have built, how he has built the authentication, the database, and now today we are gonna build the Stripe integration, which is very pivotal while building a full stack app. So, yeah, and maybe we should just start with a quick intro and few things also, which for people who are joining new, I will also just uh, let them know that we are building with Data Button today. Data Button is a full stack AI app builder. So our AI agent, the Data Button agent, it writes code in React as the front end and Python as the back end. And then it also integrates it together. And then you have one click deployment and your app is live. And one special thing about Data Button AI App Builder is it is a reasoning agent. It
Mhm.
can create task for you which you can execute step by step. We will go through that also because I think we have solved a couple of tasks already. Let me just add that. Let me add that. Yeah, we have already covered at least four tasks, which not me, Dom has covered in our last live stream. So if you guys have not watched it, please watch it in our last live stream. We built this Live Sync Pro, which is Dom's personal CRM, and we have covered this task, which Data Button planned at the very beginning, and then we went step by step, and now we are left with at least 4 to 5 more tasks to have this entire MVP up and running. Data Button is meant for building the full SaaS product, but right now for live stream, we're sticking with the MVP part, which is very important, but it covers the important things like the authentication, data store, all the Stripe. And here we are. So maybe, Dom, if you give a quick intro of the app which you're building, I'm pretty sure people already know you. Dom is a power user of Data Button. He's a community champion. He has been very useful over our Discord, over our LinkedIn. He has been really a great ambassador, and we are really grateful to have him. And he take this challenge almost couple of times. He has taken this challenge to live prompt, which is super difficult to do it in front of everyone and talk with an AI agent. Doesn't matter how good the AI agent is, it's very difficult. But he has already did it a couple of times, and he's now a pro, and he has a lot of prompt hacks under the hood. So we would love to hear more and more from him. So Tom, it's all yours. Maybe it would be great if we have a quick intro of what we are building or what we have built and
Yeah,
what's next coming. Let's go ahead.
definitely. Thank you for the warm intro, and I'm excited to be back. And I think this session today is going to be really good because on Discord, there's been a lot of activity about Stripe integration lately. So I think the timing's perfect for this. But to give a recap to everybody that didn't watch the first one, we decided we were going to build a CRM for your life. So to handle all your personal goals, your tasks, your calendar, all that kind of thing. And we obviously wanted to monetize it. So we wanted to incorporate Stripe, and we want to authenticate it. So we wanted to incorporate Firebase. So like Avra said, to give a recap of what we've done so far, we have created the initial app based on our Google prompt, which we created um, the other day, which I can pull up right here.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if we go, this was the general prompt that we uploaded into the system to be able to create the general blueprint of the application. So we did that in the first step. And then the second thing that we had done once we set the application up is we set up our Firebase authentication. So that allowed users to be able to sign in securely and move about the app and basically protect all the data that we didn't want open to the rest of the internet. So this is where we made it to. We got this really beautiful homepage that outlines the different concepts of the application. We have a get started for free as kind of a CTA call to action. We have our authentication here where we
Yeah.
can sign in directly with Google.
By the way, Dom, while you showcase, I just want to quickly say a very good comment which came across uh, from Mike. It's an understatement. Useful is an understatement. Dom is a an OG. So yeah,
Oh,
I,
thank you.
I totally agree with that. I'll
Likewise.
just quickly check with one last thing. Someone is saying that the internet voice or the problem with the audio. So if there's still an audio issue, just let me know. We'll fix it meanwhile, but just let me know, okay? And yeah, one comment just came. Stripe payment with free trial would be great. With
Yep.
free trial, you can have Stripe, authentication, data store, everything. There is no limitation
Yeah.
with that, so we can just have it. It will be great, Dom, if you show us how many credits we use while building the auth part. In case, like, I think the restore is a good indication of understanding how much of credits we have used, because those are the checkpoints. So
Yeah.
typically,
So
typically, yeah, please.
I think to get the whole scope of everything that we've done, we've created 6 pages, 2 UI components, 2 files, and uploaded some additional files. And so from the very beginning, I can't restore any further back because this was day 1 right here. How many writes have we done here? Like 10. And just to get Firebase done, well, Firebase was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 credits. No,
Mhm.
no, 2, 3 credits.
Yeah.
3 credits to do.
So
And
basically, like, I think this live stream and also the previous one which I did, typically it takes around maximum, with Firestore it will be maximum 2 to 3 credits
mhm,
if you're doing like with the auth part and also the data store. You are set up. Of course, like, you have to work a bit more if you have more data to store, you have the rules and all, but typically with 3 to 4, let's say maximum 5 for your auth and store. Then you have MVP, which takes another 1 or 2 credits maximum. By 10 credits you will have something like this. And
yep.
if you need to fine tune a bit more, you can finish it. And then comes the Stripe. Let's see how many credits it takes today. uh, for sure, if within 20 it's possible to have auth, data store, Stripe, it's possible. But again, there's a learning curve for which we are here every day, sorry, every week.
Yep.
We do this live stream, but also, of course, we are every day over the Discord, so feel free to connect with us. And we are trying our best to make sure this curve is much more simpler and we can directly go to real building part and MVP within trial period. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Dom. Please go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're good. And I would just add to that, Albert, like for the Firestore, I know that, these are obviously the instructions that everybody's going to see when they sign up. But if anybody's ever unsure about how this works or what needs to go here, or the flow or anything, just put a message on the Discord. Anybody that's done it before is happy to respond. And that's one of the great things about Data Button is the community.
And
Everybody just help each other.
I think that's a great point. And also one thing I saw over last week Discord, and I think it should be addressed also. We always forget the third point in this Firestore implementation. First thing is configure the authentication,
Mhm.
sign in and Google. There is a whitelisting of domains, which is your databutton.com, which is the second step out here inside the product. You don't even need to go to the docs as well. You can just do it right from here. The third step, which is the Firestore database, you need to enable that.
Mhm.
That is kind of something, a very common hurdle for the community I saw. Just want to mention that that step is very important. Otherwise, you will get errors like insufficient permission, or yeah, something like that. You'll just get, those are the common hurdles. So please make sure that you take that third step also into account and enable that. Perfect. Dom, let's proceed. Sorry.
Oh no, you're
Go
all
ahead.
good.
Next.
It's
Yeah.
all good info. So yeah, to again just recap what we've done. We've created our homepage. We've created a user dashboard now that people will see as soon as they log in. We've created our profile screen, which has your login, log out, and various settings. And then we've got our Firebase login, log out, and sign up screens. So all that's done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set up um, Stripe integration. So
All right.
on the left hand side of my screen, Avra created this really nice Stripe integration workflow that's in the Data Button website, and you can go there and follow it step by step. But one of the nice things about Stripe is that it comes with a pricing table that you can customize. So you actually don't even have to use any credits within DataButton to create the pricing table. And DataButton can customize the CSS of the pricing table to match your application perfectly. So you don't have to build anything, which is really awesome. So first thing that we're going to do, though, I think we discussed, is we're going to actually go ahead and just create a task just to use the task management feature for Stripe. And we'll say create task.
Yeah, I think I think that's while you create the table maybe, or we can just start with the, yeah, perfect. We can start with the task, and while you do that, I'll just quickly also address few of the questions which is coming here. But one thing which Dom said is very important. With the Stripe, a very easy hack is using its pricing table, which works really well. And when you create a pricing table, you can literally just get this the embeddable JavaScript, which you can pass it to data button, and in one prompt, literally one prompt. What right now Dom is doing is it's creating a task. That's also a nice way to do it. You create a task where you already give this information of a pricing table which you have in mind. Let's say you have more things in mind, like for example, create a backend. You can give it to the task, and once this task is created, using that particular embed JavaScript, you will have your UI component ready. So that's something which I think a couple of days back when me and Dom were discussing about how to proceed from here and what would be the fastest way to show within a live stream. This was something we felt like it's super easy to do and super rapid to do. Very few things can go wrong where you don't need to think, and this is a really a quick hack to do that. A few question which I think we need to. Okay, so there is a question like, how does your product compare to Lovable and Bold? Are you using 3.7 on it yet? Oh, Mike has already answered it, but still I'm saying yes. We are using 3.7. So just 2 days back, it was live in the product, or I think it was yesterday. So one day back, it was live for all our paid users, and then from yesterday onwards, for everyone, it is available. And yeah, and compared Lovable and Bold, great product, loved it. Compared Lovable and Bold, few things where Data Button differentiates. One, we have a Python backend which is very robust. We'll see in this live where we need to create a webhook which will be in Python. There are very differentiates. We have we have entire reasoning or thinking agent. Our agent is very different. That I can bet on. It's something which thinks, which has a plan, which creates a plan, a task for you. You can execute one after other. There will be differentiates a lot, and that really helps with this entire workflow. It helps a lot for non-technical people, and I hope Dom might not mind if I say that, Dom, you are coming from a non-technical background, and today he has built authentication, database storage, as well as today you're going to embed the Stripe. Let's see how it goes. That kind of workflow with an agent, that helps a lot. And one thing which I feel the people who are using Jira Button and our close community, they all know that the amount of extensive support which we provide, we make sure everyone is heard over Discord, over our in-product chat. And there I think is a huge differentiation. So we will hear you, doesn't matter, we'll address each and every questions. Oh, all right. So Dom is now creating the table, and you can create multiple products or you can create one product, up to you. Dom is creating two out there.
Yep. And one thing that's really cool about the task feature that I like to point out is when you get this code here, you can actually go into the task, and we need to make the pricing table kind of the number one thing that we do here, the first thing. So create pricing table, use code below. And so we can actually copy straight into the task the code straight from Stripe, and the agent will know to follow that exactly.
And there you can also add comment to it, and that also helps a lot.
Yep. And I think one of the things that we wanted to do was make sure that we use data button storage for the.
That's a good point, actually.
And let's go ahead and do that.
And this is where the expertise or the people who has already worked with Data Button knows. Like Dom is really good in prompting, and he knows that to start with a feature, I think that's where it comes from. Start small and then expand it. So I think hopefully we'll also integrate
Yes.
Firebase storage, which is the main your production level storage. But he did it very smartly here. He started with the data button storage, so made sure that that works first.
Yep.
Main function works first, and then we go for the implementation of Firebase and all. I think that's a very smart move, actually. Yeah,
Yep. So let's see. Make sure ensure we use data button storage, not Firebase for now.
not
We
Firebase.
will update it. All right,
But
and then I think
yeah,
we're
but I hope we will update that later also, because that's very important. If we have a storage or authentication which is Firebase, we should
Mhm.
also have storage. But that's the future problem. Great.
And let's embed this in.
Let's see meanwhile if I can address few other questions. A lot of questions incoming. Uh-huh. Yeah, one of the question was from yeah, this I think Mike is handling this very well over our Discord community. Our community is very active, okay, over Discord. And please, if you are someone new here, please join there. Yeah, there is this language translation. I forgot the npm package name. Maybe Mike, you are really good in this thing. I know you have built an app. So yeah, this thing, it's easy to hack. I mean, it's easy to hack the prompting part. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Mike has some solution for it. So would be great, Mike, if you just give us some input on this, how we can, or a prompt which might help us to fix this. Yeah, it's something where comes the translation of it, translation of your English to different language. And I know Mike has done for his website, for his wife's website, which is from English to
Right.
Polish. So would be great, Mike, if you pass a prompt as well. Maybe, yeah, exactly. That's the npm package which he used. I remember. So maybe a prompt around this package would help a lot to fix that.
All right, and the next thing we'll go and go back.
Viral is here, Dom.
Yeah.
Great money. Let's do that.
All right, and we need to do. Let's see here.
Nice. And we are now creating a. So where, if you don't mind, Dom, just give a quick overview. Yeah, we are in the. All right. So I think we are creating the event which will get triggered when the Stripe backend or the webhook is called. You are just following that particular documentation, right? I hope that's how that
Yep.
should be. Okay, perfect. So I think I would also add that as a banner here, so that everyone can see which documentation. This one, yes. So this is a docs.databutton.com, and there you will find setting up payment integration with Stripe. That's what right now Dom is following. So I will just quickly add in the comment section if anyone wants to go ahead. This is pretty good, not bad.
Yeah. So now what the agent's doing is creating a dedicated pricing page for that pricing table, so that when users navigate from, I believe, get started free, it's going to take them to that pricing table. Or
Nice.
right?
So I think what you did was you created a table and you gave that particular embed link, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we can actually look at it here.
And
so in product catalog, if you go to pricing tables, this is where you create your pricing table. And once you've finished setting up the pricing table, I mean, it's so simple. It shows you a preview of exactly what it looks like. If you want to change the colors, you can. But like I said, it will blend it into your app perfectly.
Nice. And the link and the embed code, yeah, that's the part.
Yep.
Right. That's right. So that's the part which I think Dom added over the comment section.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, we put it right in here, directly into the implementation step, so it knows exactly what it needs to do.
I think like this is very smart. Like you can just implement in the task section. Otherwise, if you don't have a task open, you can just directly prompt data button. So it's not necessary that you always need to be oriented with a task. You can also just prompt data button that I want to integrate or create this new page or this new UI component, use this embed link, and it should work. Yep. But this task-based working model, it works really nice.
Yep. So if we look, it looks like it's created the pricing table. And if we sign in. because you want to get people to sign up first.
Okay.
And
There were, I have some. Okay, so there's a good question here. Don't we need more events to send? Yeah, I think we can also enable a couple of more events for sure that we can do. I think right now we have already enabled checkout dot session. That was the only event which Dom has selected, but that's a good question. We can also enable later a lot of more events. But for now, as Dom always does, and also I feel that's a very good practice to start small and then expand, just to
yes,
make sure the things are working first and then we go for expanding it. I think that's a really good way to start it. So I feel Dom has already made the pricing table, if I'm not wrong. Is it already up there working?
yep, it's all done. So if we go, just to give you an idea of navigation,
Mm-hmm.
when you log into the first thing to your free profile, the first thing that you see is your subscription, and you've got your free plan. So when you click on upgrade plan, now you've got that really nice embedded.
Aha, nice. And this is exactly what you created the pricing table back in your
Mhm.
Stripe, right?
Yep,
Nice.
yep.
And it's all in the plan and it just worked. That's
It,
that's great. I think
it
that's
just
a very this is a very smart way to do it. To create a pricing table. I would also endorse for this. It's a very smart way to do that. All right, we have a nice comment. Data button is awesome, but we need to able to deploy mobile apps same time with web app. User prefers mobile apps more to web apps. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't know about user prefers mobile apps more to web apps. Yeah, for sure there are people, and I would also love to have mobile apps always there. Yeah, so data button right now actually can create very nice mobile friendly apps. So Dom can show that if you go to the preview section, you have
hmm
different way to view it. So there goes the preview on mobile. So yes, it's not something which you can deploy in App Store or Android or iOS Store, but you have an app which looks very nice, a mobile friendly, beautiful looking app for your mobile. Now, when it comes to mobile app, we and by the way, that's also a valid point that yeah, we are there. We will have something soon, but with mobile apps, also one of the kind of disadvantages, you always need to, wrap it up into a binary file and then put it over the app store. You cannot maintain as easily as how we can maintain a web
Yep.
app. So there is an additional step. But yes, we have a plan, as Mike says. We have a plan, yes, in our roadmap. So we will do that as well. But for time being, just make it mobile friendly when you are building it. Use Flex components. Tell data button agent that I want this app to work for all sorts of devices. Use Flexbox or something similar so that when the screen size decrease or increase, it fits well. So that's also we can just do while building the app. All right. So we have a backend DOM, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, we do. And so what we're doing right now is we're getting ready to input this URL into the endpoint URL here in
Oh,
Stripe.
okay, all right. That would be great if Dom, if you just expand that part a bit, what URL you are putting, because that's a very critical step. I hope
Yes.
that yeah, please.
Yeah. So in the instructions that Ever created, you've got to you've got to look at this URL. And right now we're deploying on the standard URL that comes from Data Button. But when you go to custom URL, it's a slightly different configuration, a little bit more complex. But for the sake of this, we're just going to use the standard URL, which is this same deploy URL here.
Yeah.
So in the instructions, we need to set this URL up by ensuring that we got the project ID in it, and we also have the router name. So we can find the router name because we input these instructions directly into the agent to read from to set this up. And the router is already built into this code. So within the backend, we can control F and we can go find the webhook, and we can see that the router is webhook, which is
Yeah.
the same thing that the instructions say.
Yeah.
So if we go into settings and we go to production,
Mhm.
you can copy this link
Yeah.
right here. And then we can go back to Stripe and we can paste it. But we need to make sure that on the back end, we put / and
Yeah.
then webhook.
Yeah. I think there's a very, very good point. So I'll just expand a bit here. And also I just want to criticize this documentation a bit, which I feel needs to be updated. This documentation was like at least 1 or 2 months back, and in AI things change every day, so it needs to get updated one part. But now we have that URL already in the production, so this new tab which you go to settings is already up there. All you do is now
Yep.
just copy that tab. Even if you are on someone using a custom domain, that API is already there. So you just need to copy that. It will work seamlessly. The next part, when you have that route part, when you have that, then you need to also define that which particular router it will address to. And that slash webhook, which Dom added right now, is nothing but that particular stripe, which is showing some error now, that will be fixed.
Yep.
That will have a router. That's the API router, which needs to be added, like where this will get triggered by Stripe. So what it will do first, if the payment goes through, if it goes well, Stripe sends back or triggers a post message to our means to here to data buttons backend, and that would just do all the posts or the downstream actions. So to call that, we need to allow Stripe to call to our routers, the API routers. So that's why we need that production URL, which is basically the API prefix. There's a prefix part, and then we append that with the router name. That's simple. So today, if your router name is webhook or something else, just need to add that to your router name. And this is not only for the Stripe, but also if you're creating, and this is a very something which people can leverage a lot in data button, is because data button uses or creates fast API router. So you can actually call this particular API or the backends from somewhere else. And I know one of the very common use case is people use N88 for their automation, or you can use, let's say, you can use Airtable or something where you need to send a webhook. Oh, the other example is one thing which we have right now. We are using this is also the Discord. We're constantly updating the Discord announcement with Anthropic's. If there is any error in Anthropic or rate limiting it has reached, we update it. And how we do that is we just created a backend here, and then we expose that particular backend exact prefix, exact link which we kept open, and then we add it to a kind of a GitHub action kind of a logger which runs every 10 seconds or 1 minute, and it sends and it gets triggered. So that's how you can use it in different use case. Also, let's say, yeah. So that's how you can use this, and that's why today, like when Dom is building a Stripe hook, you need that API link. That is the prefix slash a router name.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like maybe the agent is doing something a little bit extra that doesn't necessarily need to do, because we're looking at roughly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all good. If I'm just curious, like, does it show any error in the backend webhook? I'm just curious about that.
Yep, it's saying.
No, it's fine now.
Looks like it's fixed.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just the yeah. I mean, we are happy to have a lot of debugging steps. So I think it added a lot of debugging steps. So it's all good.
Yeah. Okay.
But there I see it's storage. The JSON is getting stored in data buttons db.storage.json. So all perfect.
Yep. So this all looks good. Let's let it finish doing its thing.
Nice.
Okay, so it's completed all the steps that we asked it to do so far. So we can go ahead and go back to our app.
And it also started installing the Stripe package. If I see the installation of package, so
Yes.
I think the agent is doing pretty well out here. It saw that there is some error. It took that error into account, started the installation of the Stripe package. Meanwhile, wrote the entire code. Perfect. I hope we are in the good. Yeah.
Now, one thing we need to do before, and just for everybody to know, before you try this, you're going to have an error if you don't disable this shield right here for Firestore. So we want to make sure that we just disable all on this particular API. If you don't disable.
I think that's a very good point. So we are disabling the authentication. Dom, if you again show, yeah, it's out there already. So you can always enable auth and disable auth. We need to keep that particular backend without authentication basically, so that Stripe can access that. The webhook can be accessed again. That's why we need to keep it without any authentication. That's why it's important to keep it disable auth. Normally if it sees there's already an authentication step, or you have already Firebase, since this app DOM already has Firebase, so the agent already considers that there should be authentication. So it also puts the APIs under authentication, but we don't need that authentication. Otherwise, Stripe webhook call cannot reach back because it needs to trigger our backend, which I just mentioned before, that it needs to trigger this particular webhook. And for that, we cannot keep the auth. So we need to remove that. And that is one step I agree it's lacking in the documentation, and I will update that differently. But again, that's very important to remove or disable the auth.
Yep. So I think that we can go ahead and try this. What do you think, Arva?
Yeah, but did you deploy the backend? Maybe we need to.
You're right. So yeah, very
Yeah.
important step. You got to deploy before you can do anything else, and you actually have to try this in the deployed environment, not in the dev environment.
It's also because so once it's deployed, then this this endpoint is ready. So basically, if there is any changes in the endpoint, you need to deploy it again. We are trying to figure out a better way to do that. But meanwhile, you have to deploy that,
Mhm.
and then because any changes made, so once a deployment is done, any changes made is there. Until unless it's not deployed, it's not accessible. So otherwise, it's still in the dev version. So you need to put it out there in the production, and that's why you need to deploy that. So that's kind of important. I think it's also that's why I wrote that over the documentation part. It needs to be in the deployed if there is any changes made. So DOM is now deploying that, and hopefully, if things goes right, yeah. And that's maybe DOM. You need to mention this part, the things which you added.
Yep.
I think the agent asked you to add this, maybe the Stripe secret key and the webhook secret key, and how we can have that for someone who's trying for the first time.
Yep. Yeah, so usually the agent, when it reads the instructions, it should prompt you for both of these. It did automatically prompt me for the Stripe secret key, but I had to remind it to prompt me for the webhook secret key. So you can find the webhook secret key in webhooks, and then once you create it, it's this signing secret. That's the webhook secret key. And then the actual API key is this secret key right here.
Yeah.
Under API keys, and that's the Stripe secret key.
And also, I think one thing which we forgot to mention in the beginning, that DOM is right now in the test mode, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Yep. So this is a test app, and it'll just continue to work and work and work until we get all the bugs.
Yeah. And in the Stripe, he's in the test mode, which helps you to have this kind of secret key, which is sk_test. That's the first few characters there. So he's in the test mode now. That is one thing. And also he has the webhook signature or Stripe webhook secret that comes with WBS or something like that. Few characters that also needs to be passed to the backend, because that also is very important. All right. So we have something now, Dom.
Yep. We're deployed. We signed in under the free profile. We've been taken to our dashboard.
Nice.
Click on upgrade plan.
Wow. So we have this. Let's
make standard plan.
Standard plan. Okay. We go for $10. Nice.
Upgrade to pro.
Yeah, let's do that. Live sync standard. Okay, so this is like something to test your Stripe. If you're in the test mode, you can use 424242 as long as it accepts. And then you need to put a card number, which is like it's May 25. That's valid. You can just give something beyond that also. It's doing a processing now. And now, if things work, it will be a 200 out there in Stripe. We can see in the logs. I think Dom will show that. If not, it should be 400 or some other errors. We'll see what the error comes by. Here it shows things are working. Great. But the main thing is out here in the Stripe. Let's see. Let's see the moment of truth.
All right, we got some failed.
We got some fail. Perfect.
And then see what we've got here.
Maybe we
internal server
error. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Let's make a maybe refresh it a bit. I just want to be sure this is the latest one, or we have a timestamp also.
Let's take a look. This is a new business, so we haven't done anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
And February 28th.
Mm-hmm.
The timestamp's wrong, but
I think it's like, yeah, it's 1 hour. It's the UK time.
Yep, and we got 500 error.
U-
So
UTC time. Yeah.
I wonder if it's a Stripe issue.
Let's see then. Let's see. Learn the troubleshoot issue. Let's. I think we can ask the agent. We get this error now. The
Yep.
response body.
So
Let's
we
see if we can debug it. It's fun. Also, I would once you do this prompt, maybe we can also test with the secret key. But go ahead. I'll just meanwhile add some comments. So it says, what you use different email where here on Stripe checkout. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So it's basically like someone who wants to pay. We're just testing for that. Let's say if today I want to pay, it's all good. So basically, whatever email I put, that would be something which will go to my database. So yeah, so it should work. That's not a thing which should stop it or give an error.
Okay,
Any
that's
email.
an issue. Got it.
Makes sense. Yeah,
Mm.
let's see if the agent can fix it. This is good. Meanwhile, I'll just also again give a reminder for people who are joining here now. So this is the docs part, which I would suggest people to follow if they are trying to add their own Stripe. This works pretty well, which Tom is following on the left hand side. That's a good question. Do you have a dark theme on data button? Yeah, we have. We do have. For doing that, Dom needs to. But it's okay now. The agent is running. Dom needs to go to that particular profile page and change the settings. Then it becomes dark mode. That's it. It's very easy.
I don't know if we've got it set up or not.
Hmm?
I don't think we configured light and dark mode for this app yet, but
I think it's not about the dark mode for this app. I think it's dark mode for data button in general. Like if this has.
oh yeah.
Yeah. For that, I think we need to go to the profile section, databutton.com/profile, and there you can change it. But I would say like, yeah, let the agent work. Oh, okay, fine, all good. And here, if you go down a bit, yeah, there exactly.
so we can do dark mode.
Yeah, we can do dark mode. Not a bad idea. Thank you. Let's do it.
Okay, so it successfully called the API endpoint. And I think it's done. Okay.
Mine put the same email I signed up this on the app. I see. That should also work. But I think, is it related to Stripe? You can just add any email. That email is nothing but it's about your customer's email. I would rather say in that way. It's a customer email which you are doing over Stripe checkout. So you can just add any email you want while testing. It doesn't matter at all.
Yep.
Yeah, we are deploying it. Yeah, this is a very important step. So if you are making any changes, you need to deploy the app so that it's already deployed, and that's the latest version. That particular instance is getting access by the Stripe, or that post message is getting triggered to that backend. I think that's very important. And I also make that mistake a lot whenever I set up, because I forget that I need to deploy it to make sure that the latest version from the production, from the dev version, went to the production.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. That part, and also the part where we disable the auth to make sure that the webhook is getting called. That's pretty important.
Okay.
Let's give another try. I think with the Stripe integration, it's not about how many tokens we use, but to make sure that things works. Again, it's not token, it's credits. I think Dom hasn't used more than 3 or 4 prompts. How many prompts did you make, Dom? I feel it's 4 to 5, but we can check always.
Let's see. How many prompts have I made? One.
Or maybe you can check the ones which is today.
Yeah.
With the date, you can check that. Maybe. Yeah. So it's so like from there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 prompts.
So 14, I would say it's not the 14 prompts, it's the 14 credits has been used.
Yeah.
Because every time there's a checkpoint, those checkpoints are the credits which are getting used. So he has used 14 credits because this is something which very common question I got. And since Dom is our unlimited customer, so it's not visible there. It's unlimited with a heart. But yeah, so it's he used 14 credits today to make the UI, to make any changes, plus also to refine the backend. That much he has cost today. And it's not only again, this is not prompts, it's about number of credits used, number of AI edits used. And we neither use tokens, we use credit system. That's also kind of something, a very common question. We use a token, we use a credit system instead of a token wise.
Yep. All right, let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, let's see.
If I'm wrong, but the email will start pulling through once we connect Firebase, right? Because then we'll start actually pulling in the user profile information.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
Okay. And let's see, we got another failure. Another 500 error. I wonder if it has something to do with the code in the API.
Let's see. Otherwise, we can just test with the current code which we have here. I would again double check with the Stripe webhook secret and the Stripe secret key. Let's do that actually.
Okay.
Let's first start with the minimal changes which you can. It's a debugging mode, so it's all good. So that's the Stripe webhook, if I'm not wrong. Let's see. Let's go to secret part. Let's reveal it. Yeah, and it's end with Z, right? And let's check the Stripe part. How is it?
Yeah. And look at the Stripe. There's the secret key.
Yeah, looks should be same. Yeah. Then the next thing I would also check is the backend and the how is it called, the router. Now, can you hover on the top of the backend, the Stripe?
Yes.
It's called webhook. Nice. And there is something called as get user subscription.
That's different.
That's a bit different. Webhook and get user subscription. Okay, all right. That shouldn't be a difficult part, but it's okay. Let's. I think this looks fine. I would also check with the. Okay, let's do this thing. Can we just simplify the backend a bit? Let's say that we want to use. We can give an example of this particular backend which we have already. Maybe that we can try. Or what do you think?
Yeah.
And also before that, I would also check with the webhook URL. Let's do that also.
Do you want me to go to a different app and show a backend of a?
No, let's check the Stripe's webhook URL which we added, because we added the production / the root. And let's see if that is correct also. There are a few things. So it's the same root. Yeah.
Webhook and
should not be different. Yeah, it looks same. The router name, the project ID, and everything looks fine here. And yeah, let's ask the agent to simplify our backend a bit so that we just make the webhook work, and we don't need the get subscription method. Let's just make the webhook work. That would be good. Let's try to simplify. Let's try to scope back a bit, and then we go ahead again. This is fun actually, to do a live debugging session along with prompting. So it actually added all the event type out here, subscription events plus the payment events out here. That's nice. And I see a red linter there. What do you think is that for? It's not used. It's but never used. Yeah, that's the thing. It's okay. That shouldn't be a error. And yeah, and then otherwise the backend looks fine for me. Can you just scroll down a bit? Let's see if we have anything possible. Something is going
It simplified a lot there. It simplified a lot. It went from like 240 lines of code to 136.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit more it has added, but that shouldn't be. But anyways, let's scope back a bit and let's see where we might go wrong. but from there we can always fix it. It's not a big deal. And it also okay, it also has a helper function to store. That's nice. That's nice actually. And it takes a stripe. There were the db.secrets.get stripe secret key. Yeah, let's hit the deploy meanwhile. And that's how it fetches the stripe secret key. Does it use the stripe webhook key as well? If I know, if you select the secret, it should also show where it uses the stripe webhook. Just maybe you just look for the stripe. Yeah, perfect.
Maybe
Yeah.
that could be. It's not looking at the webhook secret key.
Can you also search with secret as the keyword? I'm just curious how many times it search for the secrets keyword. Then we can figure out it had actually called. So there is one time that is a
That's
db.secrets.get.
it. That's the problem. No webhook secret key is being used.
Yeah, I think we need to tell the agent that.
Okay.
But let's confirm the code. Let's ask the agent that, are you sure that you are not using the stripe what is it called, the webhook key at all? Yeah, that's the way. That's a precision prompting. Yeah, perfect. I hopeful this will fix, because I feel like it should use the stripe webhook key. Otherwise, it cannot use the webhook. That's must. It has used the Stripe API key, but not the webhook key. You are absolutely right, and there's a critical oversight. Yeah, agent, you must get better on this. All right. It's updating the API. It's not there yet, but
There you go.
yeah, here it comes. And does it use it? I would also check with that. If you select the webhook underscore secret, then you can see where it is used later in the editor. You can just use that variable webhook underscore secret.
What do you mean?
You can just search webhook underscore secret. I just want to be sure that it is actually using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, that's right. Now it added a print statement as well.
Okay. Let's give it a
Your comment. Your starts with API. I'm not sure, Yuri. What do you mean? Your starts with API. Is it the documentation part, or is it like the? Yeah, would be great to expand this comment. Nice. I think that was the error probably.
I think so too.
Hopefully, let's see. Wow, we have a lot of people watching.
Yeah, 34.
That's nice. On a Friday evening, it's 5:50 now.
Friday morning.
Two nerds just discussing about how to add a Stripe webhook API key, and then there are some errors. Nice. When shall we do our next live stream, Dom? Do you think it should be next Friday, or we can do it like maybe Thursday or Wednesday? Let's see. We can fix schedule that time, because once we finish this, our next part will be polish our app a bit more, just to make it presentable, and then we deploy it. So our entire series is from idea to launch, and while during the entire series, the very important parts, or the key parts, is the authentication, the database, the storage part. I don't know if today we'll get it time, but we'll see if we can add storage. But I think we almost reached to a state where, yeah, it's getting more than 1 hour. We are 50 minutes we have done, but let's see. And the other part was the Stripe, because it's very important. That's why we prioritized Stripe over storage, because we saw that the community is very much kind of inclined towards the Stripe integration. So that's why we felt like, okay, let's make sure that we do the Stripe before the storage thing.
Yeah.
And today we are doing Stripe. Let's see if we finish it. If not, we will again debug it live, everything transparently. And then we go for the storage, and then we polish it, and we put it live for everyone. And that time it won't be in the test mode, it will be production mode. So if anyone wants to get the code, you need to pay it. Pay to Dom. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. But yeah, that's a good question. How can we see the whole source code? That's a great question. So in Data Button, you can actually export the entire source code.
Mhm.
For that, you have to go to settings, and then you have to go to, I think, the app out there. And then if you scroll down a bit, there comes the export code. So you can actually export the entire code out there, but the one which Data Button generates here. So that you can export for sure.
And here's that nice undeploy button that y'all
Oh
just.
yeah, that I should mention as well. So over, and this is why, okay, in Data Button we really hear the people what they are saying. We love to hear from our users, and there were a lot of comments over our Discord. I'll also share the channel out here. People said they want undeploy button. I think Ovind, kudos to Ovind, in just next day or within a few hours, this undeploy button was there. So if you deploy something and you want to undeploy, just hit that button. That's it.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
we have some nice
So
comments. Let's
let's take
let's
a look. So that was successful. So let's go back to our dashboard.
let's see. Oh, I love this tool, guys. Yeah, I am really happy to hear this. I'm really happy to hear. That's
And
great.
success. So that
Yay!
was a secret
Nice.
secret
We
key.
have some success. We have 200. Yeah, perfect. We have a success. It's time to celebrate. So this was good actually. We faced an issue, we debugged it together, and
Yeah.
we did it like we started small and we went there. Great stuff.
I
Oh,
think Gabro, a good rule of thumb, just because I think we've seen this a couple times, is whenever the application's relying on a secret key like that, it takes just 1 second to go to the API and Control F and just find,
yeah,
look, and make sure is the secret actually listed in the code.
yeah.
If
I
it's
mean,
not, it's a really easy fix, and that would solve all of the debugging we just did.
exactly. And you don't even this is a thing, okay? And I think this is a very good point. And I'm really like somewhere I'm really happy that we do this kind of live stream, because
Mhm.
this is where we learn, like, one thing we could have done a lot of other things. We could have just created a new endpoint, make circle and go around,
Yep.
and then we lose our credits also. Then you're like a frustration point. But it's very simple. There will be bugs, and I think Data Button has bugs every day in the product. We fix it, we fix it. But only thing which we did is we went back to the scratch. We checked for the obvious, most probable issues. For example, the webhook URL link, we double checked that,
Mhm.
still it was fine. We double checked the secrets. We went to, I mean, to the great Dom, if you just quickly showcase where the secrets are located. I'm pretty sure a lot of new viewers are joining. So we went to the secrets. We literally copied and pasted, and we checked if that secret is correct or wrong. We
Yep.
checked the Stripe overview secret also. Those are also fine. So our three check mark went all good. And then we were like, we went to the back to our basics. We thought that, okay, let's scope it down a bit, let's try to make it simpler. And while doing that, we just okay, we checked the code. But what we did, we didn't do in that way. We then thought, are these secrets actually integrated in the code or not? Then Dom just made a quick search, and there you go. Data
Yep.
button didn't use that particular secret key. Now, can we save one credit and not do that? Yes, we can do that. If you already go, maybe Dom, if you just show the backend, there's a where you don't even need to write that line of code.
Yeah.
That particular line of code is nothing but db.secrets.get, which is Data Button's internal Python module, which is using databutton.secrets.get, which is fetching from the secret. You can just copy and paste, give a name to it, and make sure that is added, that is fetched. And that was the error. But since we are non-techies out here, we don't know what the code is about. We don't care what the code is about. We just say to Data Button, I think you have forgot to add that, and there we go. We
Yep.
just make sure that particular line is added,
Mhm.
and then we deployed it, because for, as I mentioned a couple of times, you need to deploy the backend. And then again, we Dom did the Stripe integration webhook call, and the webhook call was successful because Stripe showed us that there is a successful webhook call. Also, maybe Dom, over the internal storage, you can show that the downstream process which
Yes.
stores each and every data,
Yep.
the entire data comes. And this is where we know that which customer has subscribed to what product. And that's how you get to know like which that's how you're, let's say you're building a SaaS product, you know which customer has subscribed to which one. Now, do you need this all these fields? No, you can just ask data button that I need the ID, I need the particular user ID, I
Mhm.
need the product, I need number of bunch of products or any other thing. You just copy and paste and say that all this thing I don't need, just remove few part of it, and
Yep.
you store it back. And how you link them, you have this user unique ID to which you can always map it, who has paid how much.
Right.
We can also continue doing that maybe today, or we can just, let's see, Dom, what do you think, shall we do something next, or we
Yeah.
wrap it up today here? Maybe I think it's better if we just show the steps a bit more what you did, Dom. Maybe that would be very useful for someone who is simply integrating Stripe, because it's not an easy thing to do.
No, no, it's a little bit complex, but yeah, definitely. But it's not
Yeah, that
not
would be great, Dom, if you just quickly, yeah, from
yeah,
your experience, the hurdles, the common, yeah, those things, please mention.
sure. Yeah. So just to walk y'all through back where we started, you can create a test account within Stripe. It's no obligation. You can set it up for free. You don't even have to give them any information, just an email, and you can actually come in and you can create your webhooks and everything that you need in your pricing table. So first thing that we need to do, which Stripe does a really good job at, is create this pricing table, which is found in the product catalog, pricing tables. And then you can just create a pricing table with whatever you want, add as many products. So we can call this Live Sync Super Premium.
Super premium.
And this one will be $100 a month. And you
Oh,
can keep adding, you can keep
super
adding.
cheap. No, I should start minimum.
um, you can also just edit the existing pricing table too if you want to edit the existing pricing table. But
Exactly.
yep.
But once you have this, you can do everything. And with the pricing, the another part which I think Dom also mentioned is you can change the entire CSS and HTML out there. Like you can just change the roundness of your button and everything. You can make it like look nice. All this thing you can do there.
Yeah, I mean, we could demonstrate that right now with the agent if you want.
Yeah, I think, but I feel like it would be better if you just complete the entire workflow,
Yeah.
maybe Dom, because that's more important. And then the code, yeah.
Mhm. So once you get your pricing table, you have this code, and you can copy
Mhm.
this. You can put it straight into the agent to create that nice pricing table that we already worked on right here. So you can see it's a direct duplicate of it. Once we have that, and we've embedded our table, now we're going to set up our webhook. So down here at the bottom left, developers, you'll find all your developer tools. And in here, you can create a new webhook.
Yeah.
And what you do is you click add destination, you select what events you want to track. So in this case, the instructions just state that for the time being, we're going to track the checkout completed. So you can just click up, but you can choose
Yeah.
all sorts of different listeners if you have other things that you want to track. But for the sake of this, that's all we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Webhook endpoint, continue, and then our endpoint URL, super easy, and it's listed in the instructions as well. But you can go to settings, production, and this deployed URL right here. You can just copy that.
Copy that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Put it right in here, and then just make sure that when you look at the instructions, you notice that we're making sure that the project ID is in there, and then also that the router name is in there. You can always verify the router name by just looking in the code, or you can look at the instructions. But if we were to go to router,
Yeah.
router post webhook right here.
That's the name of your router.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we know that that's that. So we can just come in here, go to the end, / webhook.
Yeah.
Create the destination. And once you get taken to this page, you're going to see this secret signing key. So I showed you all where to find the regular secret key, which is in this overview here, secret key. And then the webhook secret key is found right here. So when you go through the process, the agent's going to ask you to input those secrets, just like, let's see, right here. which is
Yep.
what we stored in our settings secrets.
Yep.
And for those of y'all not familiar with secrets, this is where you'll store your secrets for your LLMs and Google Maps,
AI.
email,
Exactly.
everything
So
will be stored in here in a very secure environment.
yeah,
And
I think that's a very good point. And I'll just add this part. In Data Button, we have our own secret management. We use Data Button's own Python tool, db.secrets. By any backend secrets you can store out there and fetch it. And please, Dom, continue after that. Once the secret is done, I think the agent writes the entire code.
Mhm. Yeah, and in this case, we asked the agent to kind of do it all for us. So we actually paste this instruction link into the task. But if
Yeah,
you want to just really be, very precise about it, you can always just come in here and copy the code directly from this API and paste it straight in.
that's a good point. Actually, that one thing which I do a lot is, and which Data Button is really powerful, is you can just paste a web URL, and Data Button will go there,
Mhm.
research on that topic, extract the context, and work from there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as Dom said, that we have this the documentation with a general code, a general few blocks of code. You can just copy that and say that, can you work on this code and make sure to implement this webhook URL?
Mhm.
That works really well. So whenever you add more context to the LLM, it works really well. So either you can just pass a URL in this particular documentation URL, which I think we have shared a couple of times. So that you can pass it like this one. You
Mhm.
can pass it to data button and say that, can you research on it, grab the context and add a webhook URL. Otherwise, pass the entire code and say that just implement this as the backend.
Yeah.
And that's it. Your backend is ready.
Exactly. Yeah. So whether you do it automatically through a task or you just do this step by step, it's really simple. I think some of the things we saw today were a little bit unusual, but
Yeah.
it's easy to debug, easy to fix, and you know,
Yeah. I mean, we are doing a live debugging session as well. out here. It's fantastic. And oh, one thing which I think I would also mention that, yeah, keeping your API or the webhook open, not under authentication, because Stripe needs to trigger a post call there. So you have to
yeah.
keep that open. That's also which Dom did. And also he deployed it. Every time any change, you need to deploy it. Otherwise, it's not getting deployed. That instant is not getting created. So that was a bit important. Right.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My,
If you ever go into the dashboard and you're checking for your event deliveries and you're finding that the it's failing or you're getting something called like not authenticated, that's a telltale sign that you didn't disable this shield right here. And it's
yeah.
really easy to overlook. It can frustrate you, but it's just one click. Click the three dots, disable auth, and you're good to
And
go.
and actually that is all over, like all this page which you see out there in dashboard and logout, everything has a authentication enabled or disabled option. So if you ever feel that something which you don't want under authentication, just disable it.
Mhm.
It's very simple. And you don't even need to waste any credits. You just go there, disable it, your authentication is gone.
Yeah.
That particular page, if it's deployed, is publicly accessible. By the way, Mike says a very good point. The subscription and table setup for Stripe is really straightforward, as shown in this live session. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's a very, if you're doing it for the first time, if you're non-technical, and I think even if you're technical enough, if you have a table there, it's super easy to start with. You don't even need to think anything. Just start with the table. Just use that embed code from Stripe. It's not we who made that; it's the Stripe who has made that, because that's actually useful. Which Dom has right now is a Stripe table with three starter and plan to subscribe to. You can make all this modification. You can change the color, update your app's color, and you're good to go with a Stripe frontend. And that's basically a JavaScript or embed link, which it provides. Agent can spin that in one prompt as well. Or if you're someone who knows, use an iframe and just embed that. It's super easy to do that.
Yeah. Very easy. Yep.
That's
And
the link. Yeah.
yep, exactly. Oh, and one other thing I think that's overlooked too is in these three dots next to disable auth, you can also set any of these components to read only so that they can't be changed.
That's right.
Also,
The read only means the agent can only read it. Agent cannot write that, and that is super useful if you are not someone who does not know which particular page to target or which to not, or some page which you want to target but the agent is always getting bit swayed and it's just trying to edit other page. You can literally close those, but it needs to be handled a bit carefully, but you
Yeah.
can literally make it into read only mode
Yep.
and you are ready. Agent can never write that code anything, but it has access to it. Can read it but not write it. I think it's, yeah, very clear from what it says, read only mode.
That's my
So
favorite feature.
yeah, yeah, Mike's favorite feature. Yeah, Mike wanted to get like one click read only for everything, right, Mike?
Yeah. One day, Mike. One day.
Yeah, Tom is really good at using documentation provider, DBTM as well as Stripe. All these platforms have installation help. Yeah, that's good. I think it's a very good practice
Hmm.
before ChatGPT came or before LLM came. Yeah, like reading through documentation is so useful, and you can learn a lot from that. And like today, I think before this live stream, Dom was mentioning me that yeah, he tried a lot with everything. He has his app up with Stripe, but one thing he would love to show, and he was not sure if that's available, if Stripe supports a redirect URL. I think it supports.
It does.
We need
Yep.
to read the documentation.
Yep.
So that's something which maybe we can show next week during the live stream. That would be awesome. There was a nice comment: how to change the theme.
Yeah.
Is the theme of the Stripe? Yes, I think Dom, you can just quickly show that it's very easy to change the theme of
Yeah.
your this
So
particular page. Yeah.
super simple. You can just say, please update. You can reference the pricing table. So it's a UI component. So hashtag pricing table
Hmm.
to match existing app styling.
Do you think this will work from our from data button side, or we need to go to Stripe and change it? I'm not sure. Let's see if data button can do it from here. Overwrite it. Yeah. Let's see.
You can try it.
Otherwise, if not, like the easiest way would also be if we go to Stripe and
Yeah.
we can change the pricing table coloration, because there we can change all the CSS elements. We can change that also. We can do if
Yeah,
not from,
that's a good point, Arbor. If you wanted to change it and you don't want to use any credits,
yeah,
then just do it here.
just do it here. You can just do and edit it. You can literally edit the entire thing when you create it, or you can just edit that also.
Hmm. Yep. So you
Edit,
can have the pricing table.
edit pricing table here. You can change the button color. Yeah, you can just use the hex code and just update. You can make the button shape round or square. All this thing you can change from here. Oh,
Yep.
that's such a nice color. Yeah, so you can just do all this change and you can just so what we did here is we just used that particular embed JavaScript code and
Yep.
we just literally kind of pasted it on
Yep.
top of the UI of data button.
And I'm
So
right, but yes, the best way to do it is to do it right in here.
I think the best way to do it is to do it there and then we update it, because I'm not sure how to access the embed links, because we're using the JavaScript embed. I'm not sure if that would work because it cannot use it because it's using a link, so it cannot bypass this link. If I'm not wrong, I don't know much about JavaScript and the
Yeah.
front end, but I feel like it cannot do that. So it's easier if we just do it there and then if we do it there. So yeah, that's one way you can change the theme without any any credit cost. All right, I think we have covered entire Stripe setup, a payment setup.
Yeah.
Right now, we are storing everything over data button storage. Maybe next live stream, or maybe we can already set up. The only thing which you need to do is transfer this entire storage, which we have in internal storage now in DB.
Yeah.
Also, maybe Dom, we can show the code there in the API. Sorry, just to make
Yeah.
sure that what we are doing, just to explain that part. Right now, db.storage is used, if I'm not wrong. If you just search, Dom, if you search db, yeah, that's enough. db.storage is. So db.storage.json.put is basically putting the entire extracted Stripe checkout details, the fields, all of this goes to the JSON storage of data button. Maybe Dom, we can show that again just to be sure. It should be in the sidebar. If you go to internal storage, there where it goes. Now DB has its own storage. Fantastic, it works. However, it's recommended if you really want to build a SaaS. How about we put this entire field back to your, I think the Firestore database. Yeah, exactly. That would be great. So here the database which Dom has already set up in the last live stream. Please go there. We can create a new collection called as the payment link,
Hmm.
and we can dump this entire stuff back here in this collection, and we use this UID to map a profile and a user, and that way we know who has paid how much,
Yep.
and that can be passed very easily. I can also, like, we can literally show that, Dom. Sorry, again, I have to say that if you go to the app,
Yeah.
and if you go to the pricing table or the particular UI which is responsible, yeah, and if you show the code, and there is yeah, client reference ID.
Yep.
That client reference ID, we can literally pass a user's unique ID on login. So what happens is, storage collection with the Stripe has user unique ID, plus a profile has user unique ID. So
Hmm.
now, anytime if you want to check who has paid, have I paid or I subscribe to which tire, can always be mapped from there. That's
Yep.
all to check user's unique ID. That's the additional work which we couldn't finish today, or we can just do it and we can show it to you what, how much work, but that is not a big deal. If we can store in data button storage, we can also store in Firestore storage, which we did already. Just
Yep.
asking agent that now convert the entire this storage to Firebase storage. That's it.
Very
And
easy.
then I can add a docs also to that part. Prompt help or something, I can just add that. It can be done all via backend. We don't need now front end. It can be done via backend. And there you go. You have your Stripe interlinked with a particular user. Now you know who is paying, who is not paying. You can just literally work on that. And your payment is up and running. Fantastic. I
Yeah.
think this is cool. Dom, if you have to add something, otherwise we wrap it up for today, and that's
No,
fantastic.
this was fun, and the next session will be great because we'll kind of wrap some things up, and we'll get Firestore set up, and um,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe we can just, yeah, maybe we can just polish a bit and show us the entire thing together. That's something we can do. We see
yeah,
how far we can go, and if necessary, we can just do another one. But I think this is super fun to do
yeah,
this all together,
oh, yeah.
and do this. Fantastic. I think we had a great session. We now have reached to a state with our MVP where we have authentication, data store, Stripe, everything built live by
Mm.
a non-technical guy, which I'm now ashamed to call because he is very technical. He is now building a full stack app. So it's fantastic to see, Dom, and thank you again for taking this. This needs a lot of bravery to come live and just literally prompt. I know how it feels to prompt when people are listening to you and to control everything, but it's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone. Yeah, thank you, Kate. Thank you, Marlon Davis. Thank you, DJ Studio. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. It was fantastic. We'll be there next week. I will share the link for next week. Maybe we will switch the date a bit, but we will let you know, guys. So
And
please join our Discord channel. It's really a nice place for all of us to connect. Please join our LinkedIn channel. It's really nice. To I can also share the link maybe soon over the description of this particular video, and then we all are staying connected and we grow together, we learn together. Fantastic. All right.
Avra, if
Please.
people want to request specific videos or tutorials or things like that, what's the best way to do that?
Yes, I think that's a great point. I'm so sorry I forgot that. Yeah, if any of you have a specific video, because I know Dom is personally jumping on and helping users with a Loom video which he shares over our Discord community of people who are really struggling to set up. I think let's do a live stream.
Yeah,
Let's keep it all transparent. We build together, we debug like this. We all face hurdles. Data button has bug every day. Our developers fix it. We all face the same hurdles. So we can just do a live stream.
yeah,
And next time, me, Dom, please come in. I would love to host more people here, and we can just have a live stream together. We discuss and we just build together. I think that's a fantastic idea. Please write it out here or over our Discord channel, and we do a live stream. We host all of you, and we discuss what you like, dislike, everything together.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Dom. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone. I'll just end this live stream. Cheers. See you next week.
See y'all. Bye.